pretty sure, because they're setting up right there. All right, so I'm going to be talking today about social media. So I just want to get a feel. Can you raise your hand if you're on some sort of social media platform in here? Awesome, okay, so that's most of us. So this isn't going to be a technical presentation, so if you're not on social media, don't worry. Most of what I'm talking about is just how to speak to members of Congress and others in general. So if you were thinking you got to zone out because you don't have social media, you don't get to. So, all right. So what I'm going to be covering today are how Congress reacts to social media and what they find most influential, how to talk to members of Congress on social media, and how to present CCL and yourself in general. So, does social media work? I know CCL is an organization that focuses very much on LTEs, op-eds, phone calls, and meeting with your members of Congress, but most congressional offices say that they are using social media more and more and appreciate how it's letting them connect more directly with their constituents. So while it's obviously much more influential to sit down in a face-to-face meeting with your member of Congress, we can't do that every single day. So we shouldn't discount social media since it's a great and really easy way to interact with your member of Congress on a day-to-day basis. Now I'm going to be showing you some data from the Congressional Management Foundation. I know Mark mentioned it earlier. They're a group that gets data on what members of Congress find is most influential. So they asked this question to congressional offices. If your member of Congress has not arrived at a firm decision on an issue, how much influence might social media posts directed to your office from the following have on his or her decision? So this is the data they found from that, and I know it might be a little small, so I'm going to read along with you guys. And the red here indicates that they answered some influence, and blue indicates that they answered a lot of influence. Okay, so first, 78% of offices said that multiple constituents affiliated with the group had a lot or some influence on their decision. 75% said a leader representative of a group had influence. 71% said multiple constituents not affiliated with a group had influence. 69% for an official account of a group that represents constituents. 69% for a constituent affiliated with a group. 59% for a single constituent not affiliated with a group. 56% said social media comments in general had influence, 25% for more than one person with unclear constituent status, and 21% for a single person with unclear constituent status has some influence. So with this in mind, it's pretty obvious that one, being a constituent, and two, being part of a group makes someone more influential to members of Congress. And this is great news because every single person in this room is a constituent of some member of Congress, and you're all also part of a group. So congrats, you already have that going for you. And even without that, just over 1/5 of congressional offices still report that a single person with unclear constituent status has influence. That's pretty large. All right, so having looked at what members of Congress think is influential on social media, we know a little bit more about what we should say when we talk to them on these platforms. So here I have some general rules of what we always want to do when talking to members of Congress and some good ideas of what you might say. So first off, mention your location. This way your member of Congress knows your constituent, if you are one. And you can do this, you can start your message off with, hello, I'm one of your constituents from San Diego, or if you don't have enough room at the end of your message, you could just put in parentheses, for me it'd be CA 53. All right, next, identify with a group. So this doesn't have to be CCL, while it could be. You could also say, I'm a college student, I'm a teacher, a doctor, an avid hiker or surfer, I work in the oil industry, just anything that lets them know a little bit more about who you are, what matters to you, and that you're in a group of people with similar concerns. And lastly, and most importantly, the CCL way, be kind and say thank you. And I know this has been ingrained in all of you over and over again, but it is so important, especially on the internet. We know how easy it is for someone to get nasty when they're typing behind a screen, and so members of Congress are used to seeing a lot of those nasty remarks. So as CCL volunteers, we should pride ourselves on always staying respectful and coming from admiration, especially on social media. And if you're commenting on a post that you really don't agree with, and it's kind of hard for you to find something to say thank you about, you can just always a general thank you for your hard work and public service to our community. All right, so those are the three always. Mention your location, identify with a group, and be kind and say thank you. And some good ideas of things you might do are why you support or oppose a specific issue, reference specific legislation if applicable, tell a personal story relating to an issue, or give information on the impact of an issue on your district or state. All right, so now that we know a little bit more about what to say to a member of Congress, I'm going to have you guys practice a little bit. So these are two posts that I got from the last week. First, we have Kamala Harris on the 19th said, "Inaction on global warming over the next 4 years will be disastrous for our children's future. It's alarming how many of Trump's appointees deny this crisis." And then this was from Tuesday afternoon. Speaker Paul Ryan said, "Thanks to President Trump's executive order, the Keystone Pipeline and the Dakota Access Pipeline can finally be built. It's about time." So I want you to get with one person at your table and take about 5 minutes to brainstorm how you'd respond to Kamala Harris and how you would respond to Speaker Ryan. And I'll ask a couple of groups to share what your responses would be. So remember the three always, unless, most of you are not constituents of Speaker Ryan, so you don't need to mention your location for that. But remember the 3 always for what you're going to do for these. So go ahead and get with a person at your table, and we'll do that. So the next item on the agenda is how to present CCL and yourself when talking about CCL on social media, and that was a really good point that we're not going to take any tips from Kamala Harris or Speaker Ryan right now. They both used polarizing rhetoric, and Speaker Ryan was a little snarky with his about time. So our general rules for CCL on social media are really easy. Stay kind and stay positive. So as I was saying earlier, it's really, really easy to get negative and nasty on the internet. And I know CCL volunteers are the kindest people I've ever met, and there's probably not a room of people anywhere that needs to hear this less, but it's always a great reminder to tell yourself to stay kind. And I know when I read things on the internet, it's pretty easy to get worked up, but no one's ever going to be convinced to change their opinion off of a mean, angry Facebook post. So, and all on the flip side of that, I'm sure as many of you know, if you run a CCL Facebook page, sometimes you'll get nasty comments. I know my mom runs one, and I had to show her that you don't have to respond if you don't have anything constructive or nice to say back to someone. You can just delete their comment. So there's that too. Stop other people from being mean. So I know it's no challenge for CCLers to be nice, but I think it's a challenge for anyone invested in the environmental movement to stay positive. So now more than ever, it's really easy to get negative, and especially on social media. I know personally my timeline is just filled with friends sharing negative stories and things that are really disheartening. So I just wanted to share some great posts with you that were little pieces of light on my timeline and are a good way to stay constructive and positive. So I've got examples both from CCL Facebook pages and some personal Facebook pages. So first we have the CCL Third Coast Region page, which is that one is run by Brett Cease. So he said, Climate Solutions Caucus co-founder Congressman Carlos Curbelo appointed to the House Ways and Means Committee, well deserved. And if you notice the date on that, that was January 6th, so there are probably lots of upsetting things he could have been posting about then. And next one, this was just a few days ago from the CCL Corrales, New Mexico chapter, which is run by my mom. And she said, meanwhile in Congress, Republicans and Democrats are searching for solutions on climate change together because they believe in science and heard their constituents. Let's keep making noise. Join us for climate advocacy training this Saturday, January 28th from 9 until noon in Los Ranchos. Contact Josephine Darling at Citizens Climate for details. So I might be biased because one of these is from my mom, but they are both great posts, and they're both positive, they're short, and they're advertising CCL. So this is the exact kind of thing we want to be sharing. All right, and so most of you, since this isn't group leaders, we probably are mostly just on our personal pages. These are two really good posts. First, from Peter Brin, our conservative outreach liaison. He said, it is incredibly exciting to have 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats again on the Climate Solutions Caucus. Thanks so much to the Republicans who recently and so quickly filled 4 spots left vacant after the election. So this is great. It's in his own tone. It's respectful. It doesn't say about time they joined. He's not getting snarky. He just highlights the progress that's being made. And so this one's a little longer. It's from Ashley. I'm sure a lot of you know her, our director of events and programming, or marketing and events, sorry. She said, as Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. This is what CCL is all about, creating political will for something. So not going and yelling at town halls, but having conversation built on respect. And it also takes persistence and relationship building. To me, that is how we effectively protect what is important to us and make changes on issues that have been stagnant. It doesn't mean I won't be out on January 21st marching in DC. I already have my train ticket and hotel. It just means that's not all I'll be doing. Join me and we'll teach you how we're being effective. You can then apply our approach to whatever issue is near and dear to your heart. And then she put the link to join CCL. So this is a really great post. It's heartfelt, it's positive, it's empowering. It's exactly what CCL is all about and exactly how we want to be advertised. So good job, Ashley. All right, so now that you know a little bit more about how members of Congress think, what they think is influential on social media, how we should be talking to them, and how we should be presenting ourselves and CCL on social media, here's what I'm asking you to do. So this is a conference based on goals, and your social media goal is to just make one post a week. So that's not too hard, and it won't take up much time. But if every single one of you here makes one post a week all of February and all of March and all of 2017, that really starts adding up, and it's just so easy to do. I know LTEs we have to put a lot of thought into, but you can write a tweet or write a Facebook comment in like 5 minutes. So, oh, yes. That's a good, I would say hashtag Citizens Climate Lobby, but I know for like certain conferences we'll have. Right, yeah, we have a Twitter and we have a Facebook, so if you tag them, then they get tagged in it, but yeah. Okay, so here's some suggestions for easy things that you can do once a week. You can be like Ashley, you can ask your friends to join CCL. You can share an article, hopefully a positive one. You could advertise your monthly meeting or the next event coming up, like the next regional conference or the June conference. You can comment on a post by your member of Congress. You can tweet at your member of Congress. Just do something, because as CCL has proven, when we are determined and we work hard from a point of admiration, respect, we can make things happen. So that's all I have on social media. I think we have, do we have a few minutes for questions? Okay, we have a couple minutes for questions. Yes?
We have a member in our group that has been advocating for us to use Facebook Live, because apparently when you use Facebook Live, it's open to the whole public if you hit public. Is there a way to incorporate CCL? Is there
into Facebook Live? You know, that's a little confusing. I mean, you'd have to be at like an event like this or something, you know, because it's a video. It's a video that then anyone can join and they're seeing what's happening right then. So for instance, I know at the conference we had in November, they used a little bit of Facebook Live, like when we were singing the Canadian National Anthem, anyone could have joined in and looked. But yeah, it's more for like big events or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I could interview you here and we could...
Right, you could interview me and have me on Facebook Live. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? I think I saw a couple other hands. Yeah? Oh. Oh, he's coming.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm interested in, we saw some really good posts, and I'm interested because I don't really know how to capture those posts in my own Facebook, but it seems like it would be great if I could. First of all, how do I capture them? Maybe that's too technical, but second of all, is it okay to capture somebody else's post?
Right. Well, I mean, so for me, for at least any CCL chapter, they all have public pages. So if you're on Facebook and you go up and you type Citizens Climate Lobby, this is what I did to go find posts. Like a bunch of different ones came up, the Corrales, Pittsburgh, the different regions. And so they're all public pages, so you can go on and get posts from that. As far as capturing other people's posts, I would say, I'm with Peter and Ashley, since this was for a CCL presentation, I knew it was okay, but in general, I would say if you're gonna be sharing it somewhere and they aren't gonna know, I would ask permission. But with public pages, like a congressperson or a CCL Facebook page, then that's totally fine. Yeah. You had a question over there?
Yeah, if you're posting on whatever it is on your own page or CCL page, only your friends, the CCL people, will see it. What would you suggest so another group that is an affiliate with CCL or that would be interested in, what you're saying would see it? I mean, a hashtag, Republicans for, climate change or something. I don't know what.
Right, yeah, so hashtags are a good point. Hashtags are a way, so it's kind of like tagging a topic. So say, you put hashtag environmental or hashtag green or hashtag Republicans. If someone searches under that, they would see your post if it's public. And also for public Facebook pages, if you have one, you might see that you can pay to endorse your page based on a local area. And so it'll pop up on people's timelines, even if they aren't your friend or like your page, you can do that so it pops up so someone in your area that might be interested might see it.
And follow up, what's the difference between, when you do a hashtag or an @
Right, @ tags someone specific. So you can tag the Citizens Climate Lobby Facebook page, and a hashtag can just be a word. It can be anything that someone can go and look at that word, and it'll show them all the posts that contain that.